Hey guys, so in this video, I just wanted to take some time to talk about some books that I've been reading recently, plus some books that I'm planning to go through for the rest of the month as well. I think with the current state of affairs in the world right now, plus the fact that we're working from home a lot more than before, Tans and I have had a lot more time on our hands to catch up with our reading. I think as far as this year goes, I've read at a much faster rate than I ordinarily would have. When you consider the restrictions in place, especially the March through June timeframe. Obviously, this varies depending on where you are, but with all the restrictions and lockdowns, there wasn't a whole lot to do really beyond just, I guess, your day job, working out, catching up with friends and family over Zoom. But yeah, I've picked up a batch of new books recently, so let's just jump right into it. So the first one is The Deep by Rivers Solomon, right here. And this book is one that I've been excited about for a very long time. The Deep is a stark, gruesome, yet much needed reminder of our own dark history. The book is basically about this underwater society descended from pregnant African slaves who were thrown overboard by their captors during the long transatlantic voyage from Africa to the New World. The protagonist is essentially someone who's been entrusted with the collective memory of this society, and by extension, the collective trauma of that society as a whole. If you're familiar with The Giver by Lewis Lowry, you might be somewhat familiar with this premise. But yeah, I'm super excited about this book. I've actually made it through the first few pages, and yes, you can expect a comprehensive review very soon where I'll be sharing more details, so make sure to watch this space. The next one is The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And this is a book that I wanted to read for a long time as well. I believe it's his debut novel. I could be mistaken, but that's what I've been led to believe. For those of you who might not know, Ta-Nehisi Coates is a prolific essayist and author. So from my understanding, the plot of The Water Dancer revolves around Hiram Walker, who grows up on a plantation in Virginia. And it kind of depicts his struggles to grapple with the challenges of slavery. He eventually goes on to join the Underground Railroad. So the book definitely gives you a peek into the pre-Civil War South. So this one's been recommended to me, and it's a really popular title in Canada right now. It's The Skin We're In by Desmond Cole. So Desmond Cole is a Toronto-based author, activist, and reporter. And the book is essentially an expansion of an article he wrote a few years ago called The Skin We're In, which really laid bare this problem of systemic racism in Toronto as well as police brutality against the black community. Now, the book does go further beyond that and expands upon the article in the sense that it doesn't just cover instances of violence and police brutality against the black community, but it also mentions, and I think rightfully so, the marginalization of the Indigenous community here in Canada. I will be sharing more details in a book review on this as well, so stay tuned. So I realized that I'm probably super late with this one, but I finally picked up a copy of The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I'm not a huge fan of dystopian novels in general. I try to avoid them as much as possible, I guess. But I was way too curious about this one just to pass it up. Especially when you look at the last 3-4 years with what's been going on around the world, with the curtailing of liberties, the suppression of civil rights, the normalization of populism and fanaticism. I think a book like this really resonates at a time like right now, and I knew that I just, had to pick it up. I'm a big fan of this cover, actually. This would be the 2019 paperback edition. As you can see, very simple, very minimal, shows a solitary handmaid gazing downwards, which I guess tells you a lot about the book even before you dive right in. As someone who was once involved in evaluating manuscripts, editing entire books, sending books to press, leading marketing efforts for those books, I always pick up on those little things that make a book stand out and kind of sell themselves. So this is something that I feel really accomplishes that. So lately I've been getting back into a great American novel phase for some reason. This is something that I went through many years ago, and for some reason it's reared its head yet again. There was a time many years ago where, for several months I just gorged endlessly on Hawthorne, Steinbeck, and Faulkner. And even earlier this year, I started reading a lot of Toni Morrison. So after a lot of cajoling and several recommendations over the years, I finally picked up a copy of A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I do enjoy the occasional coming of age book or film, which is what I've been led to believe the story of this book is about. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm aware that it's beloved and it is a classic, so I'm really looking forward to diving right into it. I really like the cover of this one as well. As you can see, very simple, really paints a picture evocative of the Brooklyn that the protagonist grows up in. Now, I did actually have a chance to go through some of the foreword by Anna Quindlen, in which she writes, "Readers have met this sort of girl before in the pages of memorable fiction. The perceptive child who reads indefatigably, writes obsessively, dreams of a future different than what the past and present would portend. Jo March of Little Women is one, the eponymous Anne of Green Gables another, Betsy Ray of the beloved Betsy Tacy books a third. But Francie Nolan and A Tree Grows in Brooklyn reveal the inherent weakness in those stories, a lack of realism that has made them enduring novels for girls, while this has often been a book for adults. The March girls of Little Women are poor, but their poverty is styled a kind of noble blessing. Betsy Ray is bound and determined to be a writer, and this is portrayed as an inevitability. But the poverty of Francie's family is degrading and soul-destroying, and the possibility of really becoming a writer a considerable dream, given the need to leave school and work in factories and offices to provide food and rent money." She then goes on to write, "Instead, this is that rare and enduring thing, a book in which, no matter what our backgrounds, we recognize ourselves. Francie does not say goodbye to the tenements or the tragedies, but to the girl she once was, the illusions she once had, the life she once led." But yeah, I'm very curious to know your thoughts. What have you guys been reading? How have you been keeping yourselves engaged during this time? What do you think of these books that I just went through? Would appreciate your comments in the section below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And Tans and I will see you all very soon.